What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today it's weekly reset again, so that means that we've got a whole bunch of brand new inventory from all the vendors. So what we need to do is we need to go over to them, we need to see what weapons they're bringing, and what amazing, incredible, or god tier perks and rolls and combinations we've got. I'm really excited, let's go take a look. So our strategy for this video is going to be the same. We're going to highlight some of the best weapon rolls that I see, but I'm also going to show you all the other weapons just in case there's something that you might be looking for that maybe I didn't touch on or I didn't personally want to utilize. As far as new Monarchy goes, there are two things this week, and we're going to highlight the Free Will 3. So this weapon actually looks like it's a lot of fun. So just taking a look at the sights that we've got here, what I really like about this is even though it has really low range, it's got explosive rounds. And explosive rounds really helps to alleviate low range on hand cannons. This really helps out because the explosion from explosive rounds does not end up getting reduced by damage fall off. So that's really nice. So you've got explosive rounds, you could increase your range, but I'd probably go with Outlaw. So explosive rounds, Outlaw, and reactive reload, and some people are like, wait a second, Outlaw and explosive rounds, that doesn't work together. Well, it does, it's just if you get the kill from the explosion in the explosive rounds, it won't proc Outlaw, but reactive reload would be working anyway as long as you get a kill. I think this combination would be really nice together. And moving on to a second weapon that I think is actually pretty solid, it's actually the Impeacher. So the sidearm actually looks to be pretty decent as well. Again, just scrolling through our sites, over here in the first column, nothing that's insane, but I would start off with maybe hipfire, and then in the middle column, hand loaded for extra range, and then reactive reload again. Reactive reload is always a solid perk on sidearms. So those were the weapons that I thought were pretty solid. Let's just quickly scroll through the rest. The assembly, no. Holy crap, there is nothing to boost up that stability at all. And if you think you could fire a fast rate of fire auto rifle with no stability, you are sorely mistaken. That will not work out well for you. As far as the shotgun goes, again, unfortunately, there's really nothing here that's going to make you just jump up and down. This thing would maybe be more for PvE, except for the fact that it doesn't have full auto, and that's really what's going to kill it. We have two more things. We've got the sniper rifle and machine gun. The sniper rifle, I guess you could potentially get some use out of it because Longview SLR-10 is actually a pretty good sight, and you've got quick draw, but overall none of the rest of the stuff is really just jumping out at me for being just crazy and really good and amazing, so I'm going to pass on that. And then finally, of course, the heavy machine gun. The First Citizen, it's got massive rate of fire, a really big magazine size. The problem is whenever we get down towards the middle, we end up losing magazine size, and that's one of the perks and bonuses of this weapon, so you don't really want to lower your magazine size. So again, I'm going to pass on that. Moving on to the Crucible quartermaster, oh man, he's got a lot of stuff. So everybody probably knows by now that the palindrome yet again is amazing. Holy crap, it's like each and every week the palindrome is amazing. How does this even remotely happen? So we've got Mulligan if you want it, or if you like to jump in the air, you've got Icarus. Both of those are good and solid perks. You've got your max range here with Rifle Barrel, or you could go the route of explosive rounds. Both great choices. And then of course Rangefinder. Yes, this palindrome is basically perfect. If for some reason you don't have a godly palindrome, go ahead and pick this one up this week. But the Crucible quartermaster has a lot of other really cool things as well. This one might be the weakest of the really cool things. It's the hero formula, and this weapon isn't exactly going to bowl you over with its perks, but I think just overall it's pretty solid as far as its stats go. You could get hand-laid stock, then put on rodeo along with it, plus hidden hand, and then some of your sights down here if you want to recoup some of that range that you lose from hand-laid stock. Again, just a pretty solid overall scout rifle. Then moving on, we've got Each New Day, which is a really good fusion rifle here this week. We've got our various sights. The first column doesn't exactly do much for me. Neither of these really jump out as ridiculous, but brace frame, really great for pretty much maxing out my stability. Or if you want to go the range route, you've got Rifle Barrel, so great choices right here. And then you've got Hot Swap, which is always a nice thing whenever you've got a fusion rifle. We're not done yet because the curtain call is yet again another pretty solid shotgun. So we've got our various barrels, and having aggressive ballistics is always nice because you can get that max impact, and if you have a range boosting stat, you can get max range and max impact. Here we've got performance bonus, pretty solid whenever you have no special ammo, or knee pads, which a lot of people like on their shotguns. In the middle, reinforced barrel, there's your max range, or quick draw, you'll go reinforced. And then of course crowd control, again, very solid. Moving on, because we're not done yet, the sidearm is pretty good as well. The various sights that we have here, we've got Zen Moment to help out whenever you're firing off your shots, hitting the body maybe a little bit, or Feeding Frenzy, you're going to get those sidearm kills and then have to reload really quickly. In the middle, you could increase your stability with fitted stock, or your magazine size. Here we'll probably go with fitted stock and have just a bunch of stability right here. And then rangefinder, always good on sidearms. And finally, we've got the Event Horizon, which is really solid, mainly because of this right here, spray and play. That's going to be a great perk if you take this into PvE, for sure. We've also got short gaze right here, which everybody loves. So whenever you fire off all 3 of your bullets, you'll reload faster. That will be great. If you want explosive rounds, you've got that, or perfect balance, and of course, hidden hand. So there's a lot of really good stuff going on here with the Event Horizon. Crucible Quartermaster bringing the heat. As far as the other stuff, it doesn't hold up to the weapons that we just showed. This 0-day dilemma isn't the worst thing in the world, but again, lowering magazine size is bad. This one at least gives you an increase to magazine size. Unfortunately, as usual with the party favor, they always want to lower your magazine size on the party favor. I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thing, but they love to do it, and it's bad each and every time. For our final 2 weapons, we've got the machine gun, chaotic neutral, and we're going to end up passing on this. I just imagine that you've got heavy machine guns that are legendaries that you use all the time. So it's probably pretty difficult for you to want to go ahead and spend your legendary marks on a heavy machine gun whenever you don't get to use it that much. Same thing goes for the rocket launcher. This rocket launcher can pretty much get you max blast radius, and it has tracking. So if you happen to want it for PvE, you could pick this up. But again, you probably already have a rocket launcher that's legendary that you like to utilize. So Crucible Quartermaster, lots of really good stuff to buy. Great palindrome, really nice fusion rifle with a lot of options, nice shotgun with some different options, and nice Event Horizon, especially if you don't have this impact class for PvE. Moving on to our Vanguard Quartermaster, there are 2 weapons here that I want to showcase. I'm going to show the best, which might be the best weapon this week. It's the Parthian shot. Holy crap, it's got exactly what I want in this gun. Wait until we get a look at this stuff. So okay, in the first column, we've got Rodeo here, which I'm going to pick over Feeding Frenzy. Then we've got Hand-Laid Stock. Look at that stability. Yes, it hurts your range, but you're still going to be dealing out big damage at a range anyway, and you're going to be stable. And then, of course, in the final column, Counterbalance. Counterbalance, all this stability, plus Rodeo, this thing should be an absolute laser beam. Now, I haven't really utilized this impact style of pulse rifle for a long time, but I'm gonna buy this thing, and it's gonna be a laser beam. I'm really curious to see how this ends up handling in PvP. Really curious. As far as the other weapon goes, we're gonna also showcase the Teacup Tempest, which is another pretty solid roll overall. So overall, what I like about this thing isn't necessarily the first column. It's not bad in the first column, Army of One or Mulligan, both pretty solid options. Hand loaded, very good for adding additional range to your sidearm, and then of course hidden hand. So just a pretty solid overall option. The one thing is it's got just a little bit of a low magazine size. That's just the way that the weapon is just to begin with. As far as the other weapons, nothing else that's really just crazy and amazing. There's a couple interesting things. That's why we're going to showcase all the weapons so you can actually make a decision if it's something you want to pick up. I wouldn't really recommend this one. It's not terrible. It's not the best thing in the world though. And this weapon, this Angel's Advocate, this is what I'm talking about. This one actually looks like it has some potential. My problem is you can't get the increase to stability right here and have explosive rounds at the same time. If you could, absolutely I would recommend this. But unfortunately you can't, and that's just a little bit frustrating, unfortunately. But maybe that's right up your alley. If it is, by all means go ahead and buy it. Now I'm definitely not going to recommend the How Dare You this week. It's got that low range for hand cannons, and it does not have explosive rounds to help make up for that, so we're definitely going to pass on by that one. And then this Fusion Rifle X Asterisk, oh man, I just don't know. I don't think that there could be a really phenomenal roll on this thing, and that's because you start with a magazine size of 4 instead of 5, so even when you get something amazing like Brace Frame, you're down to 3 in the magazine, and you can see that impact class. It's really low impact, so yeah, I don't think we're ever going to have a great roll on that. Our Occam's Razor, I'm really looking forward to whenever this ends up rolling with full auto sometime. Assuming that it actually does roll with full auto, I feel like it should, just because of that fire rate, but otherwise, you are never going to utilize this gun because just all the perks are so bad on it. Moving on to our sniper rifle, the 7th Sense. So I'm not going to talk about this one like I did with our Crucible sniper, because even though it too has spray in play, that impact class is far too low to actually utilize in PvE. Though I imagine some people might really like this in PvP. Long view, quick draw, unflinching, it might be up your alley there. It's not up mine, but it might be up yours. As far as our final 2 weapons, our heavy weapons go, again, just like I said with the Crucible Quartermaster, there are solid heavy weapons that you're probably already using, and just the few amounts of times where you actually get to utilize heavy ammo, chances are you're using an exotic because you really want that final big push of power. And these things, while they're solid and okay-ish, they're not really generating that for you, so that's probably why you're not spending your legendary marks on these heavy weapons. Moving on to Dead Orbit, there's really only one thing that I really like from Dead Orbit, and that's the Scout Rifle, the Keystone yet again. So overall, this looks like a pretty fun and pretty good weapon to have. We've got explosive rounds in the beginning, which is really potent. In the middle, Outlaw. I would definitely rock out Outlaw, despite what I was talking about with explosive rounds and Outlaw before. And then you've got Hidden Hand at the end. So overall, this looks like a pretty fun and pretty solid roll to have overall on your Keystone. I know a lot of people probably wish there would be Firefly right over here. The only other weapon from Dead Orbit that even remotely looks interesting is the Bitter Edge. And again, this isn't my impact class of sniper rifle, but it does have short gaze on it, so that's solid. Then you've got Snapshot right here, which people would definitely utilize in PvP. In the middle, we don't really have anything phenomenal, but at the end we have Hidden Hand, so I could definitely see somebody who likes this impact class of sniper rifle to take it into PvP and have some nice success. The other weapons, they're really not just cutting it this week, they're not cutting it. The Extremophile can roll with significantly better rolls than this one. The only thing you've got that's really even remotely good is Hammerforged. I really don't like glass half full. The magazine size is just so big already, and you know, it's really difficult to get down to the glass half full part of it. So we're going to pass on that. Moving on to our Worlds to Come. Again, this one's going to be yet another pass. Unfortunately, Dead Orbit really isn't bringing the heat this week. So those are really the only 2 weapons I would recommend this week. The other ones, I would just pass. Extremophile, we already know that Extremophile can roll with significantly better perks to really help out your killing and just be effective overall. This one really isn't going to cut it. As far as our Fusion Rifle, Worlds to Come, yeah, yet again, just another pass. Not exactly sure what they were going for with this one, but small bore, I'm just never a fan of small bore. I think you either go all in or you don't go at all. For Last Ditch, yet again, yeah. Speaking of not knowing what they were doing, I really have no idea what they were trying to do with this Last Ditch. It is not working out for you. Don't even waste your time on that one. And then finally, the rocket launcher, Unto Dust. It had its moment in the sun. It had its moment in the sun, and it's not right now. It is definitely not right now. So that's the end of Dead Orbit. We're going to move on to Future War Cult to finish things up. Finally, there are 2 weapons that I would actually like to showcase here. One is the Whale. Not that it's the godliest weapon of all, but I think it just overall looks fun. If you don't have that legendary Fatebringer, this is a poor man's knockoff. You've got your explosive rounds, you've got your Firefly. That's pretty solid. As far as fun goes, you don't have the Outlaw, which is really nice on the Fatebringer, but overall just pretty fun though. That magazine size is really quite low, unfortunately. But probably the best of what Future War Cult has, as far as if you want to just go in and have a little bit of fun. Also, we're also going to show the Wormwood because the Wormwood just is a pretty solid sidearm. Everybody knows about the Wormwood. Chances are you've already got a far better roll than this one, but if you don't, this one isn't the worst thing in the world. So not a god roll at all, but usable. Certainly usable. The other weapons, yeah, we're just gonna pretty much pass by these. The Waltz, we had a perfect Waltz a few weeks ago. This is nowhere near close to perfect, not at all. So of course, don't pick this sucker up. Actually, I probably should have showcased the weighting instead of the Wormwood, because I feel like this actually has pretty solid rolls overall. So you have some options: accelerated coils if you want, or maybe snapshot. You could increase your stability, definitely with perfect balance, or knee pads, maybe increase that stability. And then of course you've got rangefinder, a pretty solid roll, though you might already have a god tier fusion rifle and you wouldn't really need this one. Finally, we've got two more weapons. We've got the Wounded, which is kind of okay, but again, my problem is whenever you put small bore on something, you're lowering your magazine size and you're only getting a little bit of a boost to range and only a little bit of a boost to stability. I'd rather get just a big full boost to stability and just forget about it. That's my preference, so I typically try to avoid small bore. And finally, for our rocket launcher, we've got the Warpath, and it seems like they were really trying to go for tracking rocket launchers this week. It was definitely tracking week this week, but I'm going to pass on the Warpath anyway. So that's our trip around the vendors this week. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your vendor weapons, and I'll see you around in Destiny. #Parthian Laser Beam.